Greetings, this is Timothy Youngs, the Digital Apothecary, and today I'm going to be talking about why you should consider attending a hackathon. Now, for those that don't know what this is, let's give a little bit of insight first. So, a hackathon is basically an event that's generally held on weekends, I would say, these days, and it's basically where a bunch of people come together at a central location and they hack a problem. This could be focused on many different things. Nowadays, there are things like travel, businesses will do them, Facebook's host these things, but there are now medical hackathons that are also hosted across the United States. And the benefit of this is you get like basically this great interprofessional venue where you have people that are involved in business, there may be entrepreneurs, people with marketing background, design background, programming background, and healthcare background that try to come together to solve a problem that's posed by the venue or the people who are organizing this. And these could be focused on different issues like maybe cancer, pediatrics, pain, substance use disorders, access to care, you name it. And the reason I think digital health has really played a big role in terms of getting hackathons going is because this is all the focus on health IT technologies, wearable devices, mobile app development, and just novel ways of using technology to deliver healthcare. So, why should you as a pharmacy student consider, going into these events? I would say the big thing is if you have a passion or an idea or concept and you look at technology and say, well, why isn't there an app for this? Why isn't there a platform for something like this? I see this problem with my patients, or I see this problem in a pharmacy when I work as an intern. Why haven't we addressed this? And odds are is because no one else really has considered that. I would say as a profession, pharmacy is really in a bad spot in terms of the fact that no one else knows our problems but us. If you think about patients and other people or founders or other entrepreneurs, they look at pharmacy and say, okay, I go there and I get my prescriptions and I take them home. Okay, so how can I make sure that my prescriptions get delivered correctly from the doctor's office to the pharmacy? So I start thinking about like e-prescribing, things around that, or prior authorizations, how to make that easier, or even just delivery. Why do I have to go to the pharmacy? Why can't the medication just be delivered to me at home? So now you got this Uber mentality that's built up. Other things are like packaging medications. So a la PillPack, if you're not aware of PillPack, actually, the founders came out of a hackathon in Boston called the MIT Grand Hack. So but you look at this and you say, well, there's a lot of focus on these things, but what about other things? What about other areas of pharmacy? Let's talk about like long-term care. Let's talk about hospital, consultant work, even our pharmacy management systems, data integration. Why does anyone really invest in that? And the fact of the matter is probably because I would say we're, as a profession, we're very hidebound to using old ways. We really have a hard time changing. So with that in mind, I really look at nowadays as a great time for pharmacy students to be entrepreneurs and to be the movers and shakers in our field to basically advance us beyond what we could in the past. And I take that into consideration. So maybe you're a pharmacy student and you're like, okay, I'm very interested in trying to make this business or this idea or make a platform, but I need people to work with. Where do I find them? I mean, you can look up meetups, you can try looking at people on campus or local nearby, but the fact of the matter is there's probably going to be a lot of on-the-ground networking for you that might make things very difficult. So to leverage this, I always look at hackathons as a means to basically meet up with different people all at one venue, hear different pitches and different ideas that you can gravitate to or make your own and try to make a team and work and dedicate all your time and energy in about 24 to 48 hours to try to make a demo or a product or make a pitch idea. And that's the cool part because, you look at these hackathons and what will end up happening is you get all these resources, you get mentors there that can help navigate you and show you what to do or basically question your thought process. I think that's one of the biggest benefits is the mentorship and also the fact that you can actually pitch your ideas and you'll get honest feedback. Like, okay, maybe you had this idea for an app to help out, I don't know, with like choosing over-the-counter medications. And, altruistically it would really help, but the bottom line is, how do you make money from that? Maybe you haven't even considered that, but maybe if you work with someone who has a business background and say, oh, well, how can we monetize it from this? And maybe from a design standpoint, someone can walk you through, this is what you need to do. And these may be things that you don't have any experience with, but by working with this group and this team, what can end up happening is that you will then develop this. And I think that's probably the magic of the hackathon. I think that's what you get out of it that you would never get anywhere else for free. So, okay, let's suppose I got your attention. You're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to try going to this. I want to go experience this. I have an idea, or I want to see what other people are coming up with. I want to look beyond the traditional pharmacy route in terms of working directly with medications and dispensing or clinical or anything like that. And you're like, well, what about maybe being a founder for a company? Like, okay, maybe that's something that's very interesting to you. You want to just see what that would be like. See what people are up to. Maybe you'll hear stories, because hackathons often have speakers that will come and just tell about their journey, and maybe it's something that really, you want to talk to this person as network as well. So where do you go? Well, for your frame of reference, there is a publication I worked with two other people, Ravi Patel from University of Pittsburgh and Robert Puglisi from Thomas Jefferson down in Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. And those two both had their own innovation labs, but they have also hosted and run their own hackathons as well. And then I myself have participated in some hackathons in the Boston region, and I've also served as a judge for several hackathons from the MIT Grand Hack. And basically, we got together and we put together this publication, and what we called it was From Ideation to Practice, How Pharmacists and Students Can Leverage Hackathons and Innovation Labs to Accelerate Innovation in Pharmacy. It's a long title, I know, but that's academia for you. We come up with these crazy names. But the reality of the situation is we actually made this because we really want to help get pharmacists and pharmacy students to learn quickly about these different venues that they can go and be an innovator at, and what they can look for to basically get ideas off the ground. In terms of hackathons, there's a number of them across the United States. So this is going to be linked in the description so you can pull up this publication. I'm assuming if you're a pharmacy student watching this that you have access to JAPHA, or Journal of American Pharmacists Association, through your school. So just link it and open it up through your library. If you're a pharmacist and a member of the APHA, then you'll be able to pull this up as well. In the event, what we found was that there was about 15 hackathons that happen annually in the United States from the East to West Coast. Probably one of the biggest problems I noticed when we were looking through this, though, is that there's not a lot of hackathons in the Midwest or Central United States. It tends to be in larger cities, to be honest. So you may end up having to fly out if you're in a pharmacy school that's in the Midwest. But if you're on the East or West Coast, there are a lot of hackathons being hosted at different universities or hospital systems that you can go to. And they happen all year round. One trend I would say is there's a lot that happen in the fall, like October and November, and also the spring. I assume it's because everyone's inside because it's cold, at least those of us in the north. So it gives us an opportunity to burn off this energy otherwise. Who hosts them? What we found was a lot of medical centers and such. And different hospitals will host them annually. But the one thing I would also say is keep an eye out. Maybe your school is hosting one, or a nearby school is hosting them. And it's not always like a health sciences program that hosts them. It could be a tech program, and they just want to do a health focused thing. And they may try networking out and try to get other healthcare professionals come in. It could be a local hospital nearby, especially academic centers will have them. And these are things to consider. If you find that there is a hackathon that's being hosted nearby, one thing you should do is see if you actually have to register and apply to be in a hackathon. Most hackathons don't charge you money to attend. It's not a thing, but they may be inundated by a lot of applications. So they may be more selective. So they might just ask, what's your background? Like, what year are you? What profession are you, in your case, to be a pharmacy student, and what you're hoping to get out of it, what you can bring to the team. So be prepared to maybe possibly answer those questions so you can be selected and you can participate. The other thing is, if you go to a hackathon, keep in mind that if it is far away, you're most likely responsible for your own travel. Most of these do not offer any travel scholarships or such, but maybe talk to your school. Maybe it's a club activity or something you get funding from. Who knows? Especially if there's a group of you that may end up going. And what's the positive for that? You could always sell as like a PR kind of thing for your school, like, oh, well, there's a bunch of students that went to this hackathon, and who knows, if you win, that's great. It's great to spotlight yourselves and what you do for your university. I always think at the end of the day, it makes your college stands out. So you're gonna probably need travel. I think it's easier to just drive, but then also most of these hackathons start on a Friday and they end on a Sunday. So Friday you get there, you sign up, and you listen to pitches and ideas and the concept and what they're trying to solve, and then you form teams. And then Saturday you hit the ground running, and you basically spend all that time coming up with ideas and trying to answer different questions, and then you're like making a pitch deck, or you're trying to make a demo or show something that works. And this comes down to your team who can do what. And then Sunday, you usually end up pitching your idea. And then there's a judging. So I started as a judge. We usually have a rubric or something we go through and just, we start scoring like, oh, what are they trying to solve? How closely they meet the goals? How feasible is it? Etc. Every hackathon's different. And then, there's prizes for those that really stand out. And it could be like different categories, like, first, second, third prize, but it might be like, oh, best in category for this, or really like off the wall thinker. Those things are there. Some other things to consider is that there are organizations. One is Medstro. I've actually participated in them in the past. They will have like open forums of ideas that you can submit for these challenges, and basically put your name up and your idea, and people vote on it. If they like it, then you're allowed to go to the final site to pitch the idea. I would say do that if you're more experienced, at least in the field, and know a little bit more. But I think pharmacy students are just as capable. Perhaps later on, like in your third or in your last year of pharmacy school, might be something to consider. Something else I've been seeing is that there's been some movement for like APHA to host some hackathons that, not really hackathons, but like pitch ideas, so that you've been doing that as well. So as you can see, there's a number of places to possibly go for this. My final advice, though, I would say, is when you do this, I think the one thing that often people get really caught up with is they go in there and they're like, my idea will be best and I'll win. I think if you do that and you don't go in with an open mind about learning and what you can experience and just the overall vibe, you're going to kind of almost shut yourself out. Yes, I mean, if you come with a great idea, work with a great team, and you push something that's, makes, that gets a prize, and like maybe someone's investor says, I really like your idea, I want to work at like an innovation lab for you, or accelerator place to help get your product off. I mean, that'd be great, that'd be amazing, but that doesn't happen all the time. At the end of the day, what I think this is a great resource for you to basically embrace some kind of entrepreneurial innovation mindset that you may not have access to easily in your own pharmacy program, and that can really help you develop as a person overall. And if nothing else, it will at least open a door to help network beyond just the pharmacy and healthcare profession, and keep meeting people off and on throughout the time. I have a number of students at my university that go to hackathons in the region, because they do find it very much embracing ideas beyond than what they're normally taught in class, and they think to themselves, okay, how could I use this to help develop further? So yeah, that'd be my bottom line in terms of, so if you had to take away anything from this conversation, why should you go to hackathon? One, it will help you really think differently, I would say, in terms of how to basically address problems in healthcare. Two, you get to network with a lot of different people that is in your professional mindset and such, and you may make really long-lasting connections. And three, who knows, you might win and you might come up with the next great idea that makes millions of dollars. But I would say the first two is the most important. So in the event, I'm going to post the link for this paper if you want to read it, and then if you have any questions, feel free to post comments. I'll address them. If anything else comes up major about this that people want to go in detail, I'll make another video. But just give me some ideas. In any event, this is Timothy Young's, the Digital Apothecary. Take care and have a good day.